Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. Welcome to our FPL Jedi Show Gameweek 30 deadline stream. We are very excited to be here and there are plenty team news that we need to catch up. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome Azmin to the show. How are you, brother?
Okay, good. Quite right. Ready to go for another week. Going through the cauldron of fire, and after the incredible double game week that many of you had, yeah, it's back to single weeks again for a short while, and let's see how we go.
All right. Welcome Rakan FPL to the stream. Okay, and we are excited because we want to know, okay, what will be the news from team from Man City, especially Pep Guardiola comment in terms of Haaland. I think that's the topic for this game week 30, especially we then want to know what's the situation of Manchester United, especially Luke Shaw, who has been sub early during midweek game, all right, and Brentimo as definitely. We jump straight to our game week 30 fixture. Just recap what's the fixture for this week. We will have early kickoff 7:30 p.m. Malaysian time, where Manchester United will face Everton. We then have 6 matches of 10 p.m., which is Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest, Brentford versus high flying Newcastle. We have Fulham versus West Ham, who are in trouble right now. We have Leicester and Bournemouth, both need points to make sure they not drag into. I think Leicester already in the bottom three. Spurs versus Brighton. This very interesting match, European fifth and sixth place match, and then we have Wolves who are going to welcome Frank Lampard first in charge for Chelsea as a caretaker manager. We then have 12:30 a.m. Southampton versus Man City, the most talking points of this week. And then on Sunday, Leeds United versus Crystal Palace. And your club, the big match, Liverpool versus Arsenal. I think let's jump straight, man. People
Yeah.
wants to know about Man City. Why not we go first with what Pep Guardiola has been saying about Erling Haaland?
Right. So pretty much it's he seems to be ready where Pep is concerned. Yeah, he's trained, and according to quotes, he's trained the last 2 days. So yeah, so he's pretty much fit. But of course, so that means that we're only missing Phil Foden. Grealish is already okay as well. On the Southampton side, yeah, no real significant ones except that Che Adams um, hasn't recovered, so I'm not sure the predicted lineup has Shea Adams there, but if I remember correctly, he won't be ready, so that will hurt
Okay, all right.
Southampton a bit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So some Amara will be up front at the moment, most
Okay.
likely. So yeah, but all signs point to it could be a trashing by City. It could really be, but then who knows?
All
Yeah,
right.
with the
So,
Haaland, it all depends on whether Haaland will be part of it.
okay. I just shared my snapshot of Man City team who had Alvarez starting. Okay, and this is from Fantasy Football Scout, and I actually snapshot have a look at Football Hub also predicted from Ben Denery that Alvarez going to start over Haaland. What do you think, man? What do you think? Do you think that Haaland going to start or coming off from the bench? I think that's very crucial.
For me, I actually think that he will start, and that's why I made an early move to transfer him in. Also, price issue, but but
Right.
but I feel that obviously Haaland is still the first choice striker for City, and for he'll need to get to prepare for that Bayern. I feel that the best way for him to prepare is for him to actually get a start and sub out early. Yeah, but
Okay.
it is Pep, so whatever it is, I expect regardless, Haaland will see minutes. Will there be productive minutes? Will there be start or coming on the sub? Who knows? That's the problem. Yeah.
All right. Okay, fair. All right. I think looks like from the quote from Pep mentioned that he might actually starting because he will be ready. But you just never know with Pep. And we're not gonna got any early team news because Southampton with the Man City game is actually in midnight, right? Okay. Let's jump to the next one, which is Manchester United versus Everton. Ten Hag update about Luke Shaw that he's not gonna available.
Yep. And okay, so there's two developments there. One is Luke Shaw not available. Two is that Ericsson is in the squad. Now, if Ericsson is in the squad, it does solidify that midfield up a bit. Maybe one of McTominay or Fred will go. Will be out, and in a way, both you would think that both of these developments impact on Bruno Fernandes. So with Ericsson in the squad, if Ericsson starts, Bruno Fernandes can push further up. And if Luke Shaw is not available, that means Bruno will be taking most, if not all, of the free kicks or corners. So it's looking good for those who picked up Bruno, despite Bruno blanking last week. So of course you have to face Dyke, Sean Dyke. And yeah, no real changes there except that Doucouré is sent off, and it might be a good thing for Everton that Doucouré is sent off, because that guy he's quite a firebrand. So without Doucouré, they'll probably be very conservative, and Dyke will just low block all the way.
All right, okay, Pat. How about Everton, man?
Yeah, that was it for Everton.
All right. So I suppose I think that's the big news. Luke Shaw, or if you are starting, if you might actually can start your bench or replacing Luke Shaw, but I think that's the option that you can do, because in terms of Manchester United, they're going to have like another double game week coming up in 34 and probably in 37 anyway. And most probably you want to keep Luke Shaw, okay, because we are not sure whether Luke Shaw is a long-term one or a short one, right? I mean, in terms of injury.
Yeah, I think it's just that when he says he's not available for tomorrow, it kind of implies that he will be available soon. So yeah.
Okay. Right, man, let's go to the next one, which is Aston Villa versus Forest. Aston Villa has actually got back-to-back win in the Gameweek 29 fixture, and Forest are really desperate for points. So what's the latest team news?
So yeah, again, same thing. No Cash, no Coutinho. Really, those two are the key ones. But I guess it doesn't matter. We've seen Watkins high flying, and he was one of the most transferred players in this week, and expect that to continue against Forest, who are pretty rubbish playing away. Although I don't see Villa keeping a clean sheet, but Villa should be doing enough for the win. On Forest side, yeah, it's just same. It's just Dennis picking up that knock. But other than that, we're not looking to pick players, but key players from Forest is Johnson and Gibbs White. So those guys are good to go.
Yeah, I think the most people eyeing for Aston Villa is actually Watkins only. Maybe you want to bring any Aston Villa defender like Mings, who actually produce good points in Game 29. So I think those are the options that you look at. Next one is Brentford versus Newcastle. Another big match in terms of at least league position, okay, Brentford and also Newcastle at third place right now. So what's the latest news for both teams?
Right, so Brentford coming off another double gamer. So yeah, but no real changes. Newcastle as well, no further changes, and both teams did play midweek. So the question is, will we see some changes in the lineup? But for Brentford, I think it will not change much. Although if you look at the predicted lineup, it's got Shad there instead of Mbuemo, so that might be a thing. But it's not like obviously it's Tony or nothing when it comes to the Brentford FPL. So the bigger question revolves around Newcastle. Which is Isaac starting or Wilson starting? Now remember that Isaac started the first match, and then Wilson came on and scored a goal. Then Wilson started the second match, scored 2 goals, and Isaac came in and also scored. So it's a toss up right now. It's a good headache for Newcastle, not so great for FPL managers. So this predicted lineup has Isaac starting, and it could very well be, especially if they want to take care a bit with Wilson. Yeah, so because we know that Wilson is a bit more fragile of the two. But it could be anyone.
Yeah. Okay. I predicted like Isaac started the first fixture of Game 29, then Wilson did start the second one. I feel maybe Isaac will come in this one, but I actually saw a quote by Eddie Howe that both Wilson and Isaac can also play
Together.
alongside together. So I think that could also come into picture. But for now, if you have Isaac, I think you just keep him and play this game. All right. And for
One
Brentford,
Yeah, one of the dilemmas here is surrounding those of us who have Raya as one of your keepers.
yep.
So, do you play Raya in this match? Given Newcastle looks like they've shifted gears again and are gunning it, but we all know that Raya, regardless of whether or not he concedes, he racks up plenty of saves.
That's
So
another.
it could be a safe bet. I mean, I think there may be a quest between Raya and Kepa.
Kepa.
Yeah, so
Because
that's a dilemma. In fact,
we
I'm
play both
facing.
because Raya play at home and Kepa play away, and Wolves at
Yeah,
home can be stubborn. But later we run through the team news. Okay, so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
next one, Fulham versus West Ham. We know Fulham main man Mitrovic is banned for a foreseeable future.
Yeah, so with Fulham we won't see Mitrovic until the last two games of the season. But the good thing is that Willian is back, and that will help. Otherwise, you're looking at Pereira shouldering the burden, and he did get points last week. On West Ham, so now West Ham have to bounce back, and one thing, West Ham had the midweek match, so we don't have any real info with regards to that. But I would think that Ings, who was benched in the midweek game and came in as a sub, he should return to the starting lineup. But it's looking a bit dicey for West Ham, although they did win the first match and then they probably lost the second match. So it's very topsy-turvy for West Ham at the moment. So not looking for assets from there at the moment.
Yeah, we have no interest in terms both of team. Even though West Ham going to double in game week 34, okay, we shall see whether Azmin kept Ings or Isaac right in replacing Haaland. Okay. Next one, which is Leicester versus Bournemouth. I think still Leicester has no manager yet. Adam Sandler will covering this match, right? So what's the latest news for both teams?
Sorry, I overheard you say. I thought you said Adam Sandler there. So I was like,
Sandler.
oh goodness,
Sandler.
that was terrible. Okay, so Leicester. So we do know that there may be plenty of changes. I guess we were a bit worried. It's very interesting to see how they shape up, but it's really risky for us to pick anyone. In terms of injuries, there's really no real changes. Although Evans has trained, so you might think that he'll come in, but even though we don't know he'll start, we don't know. Yeah, Bournemouth also only have one real issue, which is that defender. But the Stanislas should be back. Frederick should be back as well. So, but again, it's not one of those matches that we're looking for players from, right?
Yep. So basically, if you have Madison, we just play him. I think he should start. Okay, Iheanacho, we are not sure, right? And on the Bournemouth side, I think if you have the like of Solanke and even to an extent, I think you just play them because this could be anyone result, right? Okay, it could actually turn out a high scoring game, Leicester versus Bournemouth, because they need really a win, so they have to go for it.
Yeah, you have to go for it.
Next one, which is a really interesting match also. Spurs versus Brighton. Okay, 5th and 6th place, and Spurs still without a Stellini is also interim for Spurs. Okay, so what's the latest news for both teams?
Well, okay, so we've got Richarlison, who looks like he could be back, but of course the bigger problem is in the defensive line, everywhere from the midfield, all like Bentancur and Bissouma, all the way to the back line with all this Davies Royal and to an extent Sessegnon out as well. But we don't know how they were going to go without Conte in terms of the setup, but historically they do better without Conte.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past few weeks. So
I mean, last week they actually did only drew against Everton. Yeah.
unfortunately, they did only draw against Everton, so but Kane did score anyway. So,
Yep. Yep.
on Brighton, so there's no real differences. So the biggest dilemma with Brighton, for us is, pretty much almost all of us have three Brighton players, whether it's two midfielders and one defender, or three midfielders, or two midfielders and one striker. But the thing is, there's so many. I mean, those of you who set up team well, you are unlikely to bench the likes of Rashford, for example, and most people are looking here for a benching. But it's hard. It is hard. If I had to choose between March, McAllister, and Mitoma, I do have March and Mitoma, to be fair. So it's going to be biased, but I do think that McAllister is probably the best one to be benched. There is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. If I saw predicted score in BBC Sport, is actually predicting Brighton to win this game, like 2-1.
Yes.
So what do you think? Do you think that Brighton really can win this game at Spurs?
I think Brighton can trash Spurs here. I'm looking at 4 goals maybe. Yeah. So I just think Spurs are all over the place at the moment, and it's not going to help. And this is a Europe battle.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think it's also going to harp on the back of Spurs' minds, because Spurs want to be going for the Champions League. Yeah, they don't want to be going for Europa, and right now it's slowly slipping out of the grasp, and it might demotivate them. So I can see Brighton whacking Spurs.
So supposedly, I think we should not be worried playing our Brighton players, I suppose. So I think we should do that.
I think you should play all three and find somewhere else to bench.
Okay, all right, fair. Next game, which is my team Wolves versus Chelsea. Okay, I think there's some interesting news from both team, and also predicted that Mount could actually start this game. Okay, what's the latest news for both teams?
All right, so I don't know about this spitting incident thing. Who knows what's going on there. But we're not looking at picking Wolves assets anyway. But just for the sake of it, so the biggest thing, and this is, I guess, if you're looking at Chelsea assets, you got Neves, who is really key to Wolves in the midfield. He's now suspended, and I think that will definitely help Chelsea. And and it could swing things away despite Chelsea having a new manager. It may look good for us who are looking to which goalkeeper to field, because it looks as though Kepa's chances of clean sheet will go even better now without Neves around. Chelsea side, no real changes. Berja, Silva, Azpilicueta, and of course the interesting thing is that James is, he did play, so he is fit, but it's just too risky, isn't it, to pick him?
I think we are not sure how the Lampard will line up. Okay, if we're talking about history of when he's actually in charge, we still remember Mendy is favoured by Lampard over Kepa, but this is a different situation. I think I'm not sure about Mendy fitness, so maybe Lampard will keep faith with most of the lineup that Potter has actually filled out before, but there'll be some tweak. We are expecting Mount to start, okay, but we shall see.
Yeah, that Mount thing has been going on Twitter quite a bit, but
even in the press conference, the journalists are really asking about Mount. The Lampard really give good words about Mount, and he did mention that he will have a word with Mount first to understand his situation before he's deciding. That's how close that they can be.
Yeah, but I wouldn't use it as a reason to bring in Mount yet, because
definitely.
Even though Lampard seems to prefer Mount, but we've known that Mount has been off for quite a while now, so it's too much of a risk for me.
Next one, Leeds versus Crystal Palace. Leeds won really a crucial match last week against Forest, the midweek 2-1. Okay. And I think for Crystal Palace, there are some key players who will not be available this week.
yeah, that key player is of course Zaha, and it'll be interesting to see how Hodgson set up. So we got that, Edward, Olise, and Ayew, which is looks really really weak without Zaha. On the lead side, so you got Bamford still starting up front, but we know that there's no real changes except of course Stuart Dallas, one of the only real player that um, Leeds are missing. But then we don't know even play again this season. It's a different story. This could go anyway, either way. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking Leeds will still win this one.
I feel so. I feel so. With its current form, right? Next one, the last one, for this game week 30, Liverpool versus Arsenal, your club. Okay, interesting to know what the latest news for both teams.
All right. Diaz, of course, the biggest need is that he is being seen training, but then they need to be a bit more cautious than him. So the biggest difference is Virgil van Dijk should be back. And we saw quite a few changes to the lineup. Even
Yeah.
Salah was benched, TAA
Yeah.
was benched, but I expect both TAA and Salah uh, will
Should
return
start.
after they were benched against Chelsea. They should start. The question is, will they do well? So there's been some Twitter changes about captaining Salah because Salah does like scoring against Arsenal, but I don't know. To me, it just feels a bit stretched given that who, even though sure Salah likes scoring against Arsenal, but Liverpool's form is very suspect. Then again, they are in Anfield, and
Yeah.
Anfield they play differently for some reason,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
really up the
Agree.
game thanks to the
Yeah.
12 player.
Okay.
So on the Arsenal side, yeah, he didn't. He was Ateta was a bit mysterious. Exclaiming one injured player could return, which could be Nketiah or Saliba. Now that's a big thing because if it's Saliba, Arsenal's defense study looks a lot stronger. Well, whereas because Holding is nowhere near the same quality, but then if it's Nketiah, yeah, well, he's going to be benched anyway.
Yeah.
So it's tough. So more interestingly though is the fact that this predicted lineup does not have Trossard anymore.
Okay.
So
All right.
because Jesus is in the lineup, although last week we saw Saka being benched instead. I don't know. I think that Jesus might be the one who gets benched, and Trossard might then start. Yeah, I think they need to manage Jesus a bit and not be too hasty. And given, um, but it is Liverpool versus Arsenal, so it's quite challenging to figure that out. Do more? I think most players, most managers have one Arsenal player, and even then they may not because after finding out Saka was benched, I think there were quite a few managers who ended up selling, so they may not have any Arsenal players this one, which I think is because the thing is Liverpool's defense is still very suspect, and I don't expect Arsenal to capitulate like Manchester United did last time. I think Arteta
Yeah.
will drill into their Arsenal's players that never say never
Mhm.
and never say die. And we've seen it from Arsenal that even when they've this season, even when they've um, gone down, they've recovered and ended up winning. So the mentality is there for Arsenal.
All right, man. I think this really interesting match that people will see. People were thinking whether to drop Arsenal asset like Saka, who actually missed or did not start last week, to funding the Haaland move, right? But
Yeah.
still, I feel Arsenal asset is still a good consideration
Yes.
to play for this week.
Definitely.
Right, I think, man, we already covered all the team news. Let's go to the transfer in and out traffic for game week 30. Okay, surprise, surprise, or not surprised, Haaland is now the most transferred in for this game week with 362,000 managers, inclusive yourself. Okay, because you already mentioned that, right? Then second one, Watkins, 304,000 managers has brought him in after really spectacular 17 points in double game week 29, and most probably also replacing by Tony, who are actually still on 9 yellow cards, right? And then we have Grealish after really good performance game 29. He is now under people radar. 244,000 managers has brought him in. Then Mings, like I mentioned just now, Aston Villa defense, with 260,000 managers, and Ben White. I think that's a surprise one. Okay, 200,001 managers in the top five transfer in for this week. For transfer out, okay, no surprise, Saliba, okay, it might actually miss this game. 398,000 continue to brought him out. Shaw, okay, after latest news that he's not gonna play, right? 322,000 have already part with the England left back. Tony, I think this is the traffic right now. Tony for Haaland or Tony for Watkins if you already have Haaland. I think that's where the sacrification of Mr. Tony, 291,000 managers. Almiron continue to traffic out, 290,000 managers. And then, okay, I'm surprised also people taking out Haaland on the fifth one most transfer out. So there's a balance there in terms of Haaland traffic. What do you think, man?
You just faded out there. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Continue, man.
Okay, if you can hear me, I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Haaland and Watkins are clearly fighting for recognition at the top of the transfers.
Okay, I think we have issues with Azmin. Just hold on. Okay, I think Azmin might come back later. So that's the transfer in and out right now. Okay, looks like Haaland. Okay,
Hello?
is a must to buy in. Amin, can you hear us?
Yes. Okay.
Continue,
Can you hear
man.
me?
Continue.
Okay,
Continue.
all right. So yeah, I was talking about Haaland Watkins. Greenish is an interesting surprise though. Hang on.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Grealish is an interesting surprise as the pick, but yeah, I think you're looking at Manchester City really trashing, but then it's very dodgy as to who else gets to start, and there does not seem to be now. Although it looks as though, although it looks from here that does not seem to be a lot of love for KDB, but his transfers have increased, and one of the key indicators is this morning, about 10 minutes ago, they had a price adjustment, and there are
Mhm.
three players who went up in price, which is Watkins, Haaland, did increase in the end, and KDB. So
Okay.
yeah, so and I guess the reason they're looking at KDB and Grealish is simply for the fact security of starts. Grealish is definitely being favored at the moment. At the moment, so he seems secure, and KDB is always in the middle there, so he's secure as well. Um, although I do wonder whether Pep will throw anything at us because of the Champions League. Everyone seems to look at the Champions League lineup and concerned with regards to the striker, but who knows? I'm gone again.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna disconnect and try elsewhere.
Okay.
Not sure what's going on there.
All right. Bye. Okay, that's in terms of most transfer in and out. Okay, Haaland looks like a buy right now. Azmin did mention that his price already up by 0.1, I suppose. And this could be the right move to do, even though the Man City fixture are sandwiched with the Champions League match against Bayern Munich. let's go to the next one, which is the ban list, right? I just read out here. Okay, the 7 players who will be banned for at least this week and upcoming. We already know Mitrui, he will be banned for the next 6 match already because he already served 2 match. We have the Corey, who actually suspended for 3 match after his red card. We have Lucas Moura also banned for the next 3 match. And then we have Ruben Neves, who actually got a yellow card and now he'll be suspended for the next 2 games, starting with Wolves versus Chelsea. We have Casemiro and Drewsbury Hall, who are actually gonna serve their suspension for this week. In terms of suspension risk, Tony still surviving, all right, and then he's still holding with 9 yellow cards, and if we reach another yellow card, he will miss for the next 2 games. But he will play this week, and he with yellow card he will miss in the next 2. I think the rest not so much in radar, but Madison is there with 8 yellow cards. But most probably what people will do, they will jump up from Madison after this game week against Bournemouth because Leicester have some tough fixture after that. Man, you want to comment in terms of ban list?
Yeah, so no real impact, I guess, except for Tony, of course. And just coming back in a related back to the transfer traffic. So it is a bit of a risk because with Ivan Tony, because Newcastle were the club that rejected him when in his career. So you might fancy something there when they play Brentford plays Newcastle. We'll see.
Yeah, understand. Right, man. Let's jump to our team news, our team plan for this week. All right. I think I go with my team first, man. Okay, because I'm still undecided. You can actually push me. So I
Me?
this my team for now. All right. I think I will think again about whether to play Raya over Kepa. I feel maybe Raya could actually, I don't know, both team can concede, but maybe Chelsea has more chance of potential clean sheet. All right. But Raya could actually produce more save point because he's facing Newcastle. I still remember against Brighton, he actually saved a lot of shot and then make like 2-3 save point. All right, I will decide on that. I'm most likely going to play Estupinan and Trippier and Chilwell. But if I saw some stream, even the FPL Wire, they did mention, Pras did also mention, okay, Zofa and the team, that we should play Bournemouth over Estupinan and Henry. I'm not too sure about that doubling up in terms of Newcastle asset, even though Newcastle asset are the better from those 3. That one I agree. But in terms of producing points, Estupinan could actually give an attacking return against Spurs. There is potential, right? But yes, I believe the strongest defense would definitely be Bournemouth. I will think of that, but I still favor Estupinan to play and don't want to put all eggs in Newcastle basket. Then we have Mitoma, Rashford, Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes, and also Saka in midfield. I will play Mitoma over March, okay, because Mitoma, even though his stats are not as good as much, or you could call it Mitoma overperforming, but I think in terms of point, Mitoma has been delivering like for the really after restart of the World Cup. Up front, I have Watkins, Tony, and Kane. And Watkins currently having my captain unbanned. Okay, but the thing is, the decision now that people already bring Haaland ahead of Gameweek 30 and gonna captain him. Most probably that what people do. I'm not sure about Azmin. Okay, that's the trending. So if I want to do that, okay, like I mentioned in midweek stream, whether I take out Tony and take a hit and brought Saka out from the team, which I'm not so keen. But the other option that I can do, which what Letterizer, okay, mentioned in FPL Wire, just swap Kane to Haaland, which is that something that you gonna do anyway along the line. So I think that's another option that I can do. What do you think, man?
All right. So firstly, Kane for Haaland. Let me see. Haaland, well, Kane is secure in his starts. That one, there's no issue there. So Haaland with City Champions League, there's always going to be that doubt. So it's something to worry about. I feel that that's really the only option you should take, and I don't think you should sell Saka and Tony to bring in Haaland. So who would you bring in for Saka?
I could actually bring Haaland and Grealish. That's another talking point that people are mentioning. If I have
Okay.
that kind of money, I suppose, right? I haven't done that, but that could be potential. And we already know Man City going to double in future. It sounds good on paper. That's what I can say. But Pep news, team news, game week 31, sandwich between Bayern Munich game. I'm not too sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, it really is a toss of a coin that a bit in terms of how Pep will prepare. Um, I already spoke about Tony just now and Saka, but I guess if many of you who had followed a similar pattern in terms of when you wildcarded and you went with bench boost last week, so these benching questions are something that you'll always have to face right now because
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the whole bench is also quality. So I mean, they technically could play. I mean, look at that. You got Henry and Botman. Okay, maybe Henry not so much, but Botman could definitely play. And actually, no, I'm wrong. Even March could play as well. So that's a challenge. Hell, even Kepa, you've got Kepa there, so it's going to be a challenge, and I can see it being quite frustrating. When you'll see one of bench players do incredibly well over your starters, but that's what happens when you prepare a team for bench boosting, and you just got to deal with it. So I guess you're expecting more saves from Raya, given that you have Chilwell in defense and not
Mhm.
and but not Kepa. So you're just trying to spread the risk a little. Is that your line of thinking?
Yeah, but I will rethink again. Maybe Kepa is the right choice. I'll just do some research. I think in terms of save point, although Raya has the potential, but in terms of team, in terms of conceding goals, Chelsea are better, but they are playing away. That's another factor that we need to take into account.
True.
Okay, in terms of captaining, if let's say I brought Haaland, most probably that's the best thing that I should do. But if I overthinking it, it will definitely be Watkins or Rashford. That for sure.
Okay. So
Okay.
question: is there a reason why you're not considering Rashford for captaincy?
Yeah, maybe that jinx like the first match or the week, but Rashford really on fire. Okay. I will read out again in terms of stats. Definitely Rashford are better and Watkins, and he's also a midfielder. Even though he's
Yep.
not gonna take, it's not the penalty taker. Haaland and Watkins is, so that's
Yeah.
another consideration, right? So yeah,
Good
I,
luck.
I will, yeah, I will think again because we have plenty of
Yeah.
time
Still
for the
got time.
deadline.
Still got time.
Mate, oh sorry, this is your team,
Hey.
mate. Yeah,
Okay, I know my ranking is far away from yours, but hey, can still address. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
for
yeah.
me, obviously my mentality is different from Hafiz, and you can see in terms of the ranking, but even now in terms of what I feel I need to do to catch up, so obviously I'm making a few changes. So currently that's my team right now, although that's not no longer my team. Tell you what, I'll share my screen
Okay,
actually.
all right,
I
fair.
think that might be better to show where I'm at the moment.
Okay,
Um, okay, because I've already done a transfer, and I
all right.
have brought Haaland,
Yes, we can see
and
your
I
team. Yeah.
and after what you pointed out to me, and I did eventually sell Ings for Haaland. So and
Okay.
he currently has my captaincy. Although again, just like everyone else, I do have that benching issue. So currently I've got Isaac there, and I'm fielding all three of my Brighton players. And I
Mm.
know Ferguson didn't start the first match, but he started the second match. But I really like what I see about Ferguson, and even if he doesn't start, I can see him still scoring when he comes on. And there was this interesting stat about his recent XGI. I can't remember across how many matches, but his XGI is second to only Haaland's across the minutes played. So the biggest difference, of course, is that Ferguson hasn't played as many minutes. Yeah, because but it'd be good to see. So I've chosen to dump all three of my Brighton players. Um, Obviously, I have Saka and Martinelli. I think most of those who sold off Saka won't have
Yep.
Saka, and
Yep.
you probably
Yep. You
not
can take
not have
advantage of that.
midfield,
Yep.
Arsenal midfield anyway. would have Rashford in place there, which I don't. And of course, the biggest difference is Salah, who I feel at home can still score goals. So the only real issue for me is that because Shaw's out, so I'm playing TAA. Now I don't expect TAA to get a clean sheet, but hopefully he'll get some attack in the attack. And I just had to choose between TAA and Emerson, and I went for it. I've just felt TAA
Yep.
had a higher upside.
Yep.
Everyone else, Trippier, Chilwell. At the moment, I've chosen Raya, but that could change. Raya versus Kepa
Yep.
is the yeah. The only frustration is Isaac there, but it's too hard. So I'm just hoping.
Do you think Pakistan are gonna start this game?
Uh, I think
Yeah.
Isaac will start this game. No, I
No,
think
how
I
about
think
Ferguson? How about Ferguson?
Ferguson. Yeah, I think he
So,
was subbed off at the 72nd minute in midweek. I think he will
okay.
get a start.
All right. Okay. Fair if you feel that so. But personally, for me, I think Isaac has a chance to start. Yes, Brentford could be ini, but you just never know. Another Newcastle hauling 5-1 or 3 goals. So Isaac could be in the mix. I think I have
Yep,
play Isaac over
definitely.
Ferguson. Okay, but Mitoma Mash, yes, clearly I will play both.
Okay, so thanks. So that's something I'll have to ponder in the
Yep.
next 7 hours or so, 8 hours.
All right. Okay, let's go to the some question here. Okay, just from Rakan FPL. He's thinking about replacing Shaw to Stones. Okay, Man City gonna double anyway somewhere there, and he's going to free hit in 32. Looks decent, but Shaw also interesting because you need to keep him because they also playing double somewhere in future.
Yeah, I don't think you should rush into it because it doesn't look like Shaw's seriously injured. So I don't. Yeah, I'm not keen on selling him. I mean, you might as well keep the transfer. If you have no issues elsewhere, I mean, you can field enough defenders this week. Then why not hold and see
Yeah,
what happens.
I think surely if you have bench, whether Bodman, Henry, I don't know, even Emerson like Azmin, I think you just try and play them for this week and see what's the situation for Shaw in next week. Right, his dilemma also like others which Brighton midfielder to play. Okay, like me, I play Mitoma over March. He needs to decide March or McAllister. What do you think, mate?
March. Sorry, sorry, Hafiz. I know you have March on your bench, but I just think that McAllister will play deeper, and there's the guy who come. Uh,
Okay,
what's his name? Uh,
right.
I can't remember. There was one guy who came in as a sub, and he's
MC4 is it or something like that?
yes, correct, correct.
MC4,
Yeah,
Julio
and then
Enciso.
when he played, McAllister went even deeper. So that's a risk there. But
Okay.
he's still in charge of penalties. So that's
Yeah. I
that's the
did
caveat.
actually read an article in Fantasy Football Hub also. They mentioned about I think Ben Bakar did comment that he will play March over Mitoma and Mitoma over McAllister in terms of stats. But in terms of point, Mitoma is performing based on those three. Okay? But personally, for me, I don't know. March has not been really explosive anyway, and McAllister always got a penalty in his locker. So I might actually choose McAllister over March, but that's really tight. Yeah, anyone. I don't think there is any wrong answer to this that I can say.
But I think
By
in that
Green, yeah,
order of hierarchy, for me, I think Mitoma is the top one over
yeah,
the others.
definitely, most definitely. By Grealish versus Hampton or keep Martinelli. Oh, interesting one, man. Interesting one.
No, I think Martinelli can score. Martinelli faces TAA, and
Yeah,
I mean embarrassed as a Liverpool fan to say this, but Liverpool aren't likely to keep clean sheets against Arsenal. I just don't see it. I know the last time Liverpool played at home, um, against Manchester United, that game keeps coming back, but I don't see a reason not to have Arsenal players.
okay, all right. Next one. If you want to bring any Aston Villa defender, Moreno or Mings? Mings more secure in start, I suppose. Moreno has threat from Digny. What do you think, Ming?
Yeah, I'd still go for Mings, although Moreno technically has a more attacking potential, but the
Yeah,
threat of
yeah.
him getting bench for Digne is there.
Okay. Right. Some Chelsea question. Could Corella start instead of Chilwell? We are not sure. I think he should favor Chilwell. Okay. Over Cucurella. And the other question is James or Fofana. I think James in terms of taking. So in terms of Chelsea asset, what do you think, mean? Should we be thinking them?
Well, look at it this way: don't most of us already have Kepa and Chilwell? You really want to triple up in a team that we're not sure what the direction is?
No.
Because
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm not comfortable at all. Plenty of other
Okay.
options.
All right, all right. Talking about Liverpool assets, which front three could Klopp use versus Arsenal? Jota, Gakpo, Salah, Darwin. Okay. What do you think, Wayne? Jota, Darwin, Gakpo is in terms of minutes, are they will have better minutes?
I think that Darwin Gakpo Salah is your front three. Jota, I think he's still not 100%, and I think he can be fine. Darwin did also had a minor injury, but he got back. But Darwin Gakpo Salah, we saw the potential, so I think they'll continue to start for now.
Right. Fair. I think this is another interesting question about goalkeeper, mean, because some managers have still in their squad play still against Spurs away or Raya at home against Newcastle. Both. What do you think, man?
Okay, the biggest
Interesting.
problem I have with Steele is the fact that I'm worried that Kane, because Kane can score. So my worry
Okay.
is that Kane will score be one goal, lack of save points, and that's it for Steele. Whereas Raya, Newcastle is going to have a lot more shots given the form
Okay.
that they're in. Raya probably won't keep a clean sheet either, but I think Raya will be have a lot more save points. So Raya it is for me.
I think I have to back Azmin because he actually come up with really good reason to play Raya over Steel. I think he has logically has a good reason for that. Okay. Last but not least, if Rakan FPL want to do a 1 week punt and want to have Aston Villa midfielder, which you go Buendia or Ramsey. I think Azmin has some experience with Jacob Ramsey. So what do you think, man?
Yeah, I probably go for Ramsey. It's just that Buendia is good as well. I just feel that Ramsey has a better chance at scoring and from how he plays, because I think with Watkins around, it does blunt a bit of Buendia's potential, given how they play. But Ramsey has the opportunity to come in, run from deep and score. So Ramsey it is for me. He's also much cheaper as well. Oh, isn't he? No, not that much of a difference, but cheaper. Yeah.
All right. I think so. Okay, we come to the end of the streaming. Deadline stream will our deadline for Game Week 20 will be at 6 p.m. Malaysian time today. All right. So pretty much there's plenty of time. Okay. But the traffic right now, I can summarize it. Haaland is the one that people are getting on. He's now at 12.1, is it, man? I am not sure about the price because you already mentioned that he's actually rising and he could only be rising in terms of ownership. His EO will be high if let's say people continue to captain him for this week. I think that's another conversation. All right. So what's your last word, man, for this week?
He is at 12.1, and uh, there's some Twitter rumors out there saying that someone may get the City news ahead, even though it's not the deadline news, but it's ahead of that. So I don't know if you want to look out for that.
Do we
But
have time for that, man? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, we 8 hours away from the deadline, so yeah, just be cautious and don't make your transfers too late.
All right. Okay. Just one last question I have from Harish. Okay, a quick one. Solanke, should I send Solanke to Haaland? I think you should do that if you have the money. That's what I feel, man.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for joining our stream. Do support us by hitting the like button and also subscribe to our FPL Jedi YouTube channel. Okay. So then you will know whenever we are live. All right. So thank you again. Really have a good week. If you're thinking like me to bring in Haaland or not, maybe you just bring him in and don't overthink it. Okay. I think that's my advice. All right. Thank you for joining and hope to see you again next week. Thank you. Bye bye. May the force be with you.
Bye.